Hey, how's it going, everyone? Happy 2022, Happy New Year, and welcome back to the 2 Cents Worth podcast. I'm your host, James Harper. Listen, today I really wanted to talk about kind of a reoccurring issue that keeps coming up just when I'm out there speaking to other sales professionals like yourself. And I also think this is a really good topic to start the year with, and we're going to talk about balance. I know that might sound a little bit simple, but I don't think it can be overstated enough. I think in sales, we really talk about chasing the next win, chasing the high highs. With that also comes riding the low lows. And I want to talk about the importance of finding balance through entrepreneurship, through your sales process, but more than anything, throughout your life, because when we're balanced, we're prone to be more successful. It's just that simple. So it's no secret, especially if you are running your own business, if you are in sales or just the entrepreneurial world in any way, shape, or form, the highs are what keep us going. I'm addicted to the highs. Trust me, I have that type of personality. I love the chase. That's why I love cold prospecting. I love the close. I love the signature on the dotted line. That type of adrenaline when you close a big deal is like none other. You've experienced it. I've experienced it. It's the one common ground that we share, and it's the one common thing that we probably both love. So it's a hard thing to get away from. Likewise, it's also very common for us to relate on the fact of the low lows when it comes to sales. And that's the one thing I kind of want to get away from, that roller coaster of emotion of always chasing the high and then experiencing the lows. And I'm going to give us 3 reasons why we kind of want to focus on consistency and balance, and then 3 kind of key bullet points to look forward to that's going to help you finding that balance moving forward as 2022 gets kicked off here. The first one is I really want to talk about the importance of consistency. We talk about consistency when it comes to our pipeline. We talk about consistency when it comes to our health. We talk about consistency when it comes to our relationships. We need to talk about consistency when it comes to balance. Finding what makes us whole, what makes us round, and what makes us just feel solid, safe, and strong is very important. And you do that by creating consistency. One way that I've been able to really achieve a lot of balance is create routine. And for those of you that are listening that might not know, I'm a rebel personality. I come from a very chaotic background. I didn't always have routine growing up. Even in my adult life, very little routine. Probably thanks to my wife, I've gained more of that. But in the business world, it's been so critical for me to create good habits. If you guys want a great book, read The Greatest Salesman in the World. And they talk about how we are a slave to our habits, good or bad. So if we're a slave to our habits and our routines and ultimately our systems that support those habits, it's critical that we're a slave to good habits. And that's one way to really create consistency. And when you're consistent, you don't look at the peak. You don't always chase the high highs. You don't ride the low lows. What you do is you suit up every day, you show up every day, and you are who you are, and you're present in that moment. And although that might sound very, very simple, think about that. Are you present in every moment, in every single conversation? Am I present in this conversation that I'm having with you right now? Are you present listening? Are you present when you're sending that email to a potential prospect or a potential business partner, but your phone's ringing or you have Slack going off with 14 unread notifications? Are we present? Are we in the moment? Are we being consistent with where we're at now and what we're doing? And we support that by setting up really good routines that build good habits. Topic and kind of key bullet here, number 2. Don't outsource your happiness. This is key. And this is kind of a new concept to me. Although not outsourcing your happiness makes total sense, I had actually never heard it framed like that until one of our team members, Elia, shared this awesome YouTube video with us that I'm actually going to link in the show notes below. And it talks about the power of just not outsourcing your happiness and being happy with, again, kind of where you're at now. And that all plays a key factor into balance. And although that might sound kind of cliche or a little woo-woo, if you start becoming the best version of you and you start becoming a balanced version of you, ultimately that's going to impact your success, your sales, and just your overall life. More than anything, we shouldn't rely on the win to keep us going. And this goes back to the chase. And if you're in entrepreneurship and you're in deal chasing and you're in sales and you're into closing deals, you get what I mean. We shouldn't rely on the win to keep us going. We should rely on the process and the long-term success to keep us going, and the intangibles that come with that, like the relationships we're building, the money we are making. Wins do play a piece of that, but the confidence we're building, the skill set we're building, the mindset we're building along this process of entrepreneurship, sales, business, whatever you're doing, that's what we should really be inundated with, and the long-term success of that and those intangibles that come with it. Don't rely solely on the win. If the win is your all or nothing, guaranteed the lose is going to feel like an all or nothing. And I think balance is key. Obviously, guys, business, the scoreboard is revenue, the scoreboard is sales, the points to win. I get that, but I think all too often we put so much emphasis on it that we chase that win, and that's how we get this roller coaster of emotion of the high highs and the low lows. And listen, this theory is going to be unpopular with some, but I'm just telling you from experience, when I'm balanced, when I'm confident, when I feel solid, guarantee you my sales, my revenue, and my deals are just better. It's just how it tends to work out. The last point I'm going to make here, and I wanted to keep this initial, very first podcast in 2022 very brief and to the point. When tough times get hard, what do? I think that's kind of always the key. We can talk about all of this feel-good stuff. We can talk about putting things in place when we feel good. But what happens actually when times get tough? Because the truth is, life's going to slap us in the face sometime throughout 2022. And then we got to ask ourselves, what are we going to do when that happens? The best slogan I can have when it comes to when I'm just feeling off or when things just aren't going my way, it's chop wood and carry water. That's a really good book. If you've never heard of it, check out Chop Wood, Carry Water. But more than anything, take on that mentality. Pick up an axe, chop the wood, keep chopping until that tree falls, and when you get tired, take a break, carry water. Put your nose down and just work. When we move and we don't overcomplicate things and we just start building, creating, and moving, ultimately our energy, our mindset gets better. All challenges pass and all energy will shift to what we focus on. And that's really key to know. The challenge will pass, but the energy is ultimately going to shift to what we focus on. So we can focus on the challenge or we can focus on the solution. And sometimes we don't have to overcomplicate the solution. It could be as simple as just working, doing something simple that we believe will push us forward, even if it's just a few feet. Forward momentum is progress, and progress is important. It's that simple. And you know what? Acknowledge that you're in a tough spot. Sometimes life slaps us in the face, and sometimes we get hit, and we got to realize, you know what? Right now I'm feeling a little bit off. Right now things are hard. And then focus on being positive and move. Because positive movement breeds positive momentum. It's that simple, guys. So, listen, it's not always going to be peaches and cream. We know that. If you're in business, that's absolutely the case. If you're in sales, you're going to lose deals that you wanted. You're going to lose prospects that you wanted. It's that simple. Acknowledge it. Just chop wood, carry water, and keep moving. And acknowledge that, hey, right now it's a little bit tough, but I'm going to get through this. It's just that simple. Not overcomplicating the situation you're in, and don't magnify the problem that you have at hand. So with that being said, I just wanted to talk about the importance of balance. This year, I want you to find balance. Balance in what you're doing. Balance in the sales process. Balance through the people that you're talking with, the relationships that you're holding. It's so critical to success, and it's something that I don't hear get talked about enough. balance is really key to everything that we're doing, because we want to feel solid. We want to feel safe. When we feel those things, we feel confident. And I can guarantee you, when you're feeling confident, you're selling more and your business is growing. It's that simple. Happy New Year's out there. This last year was absolutely wonderful, especially on this podcast. You guys totally rocked it for me. The fact that we have listeners and people sharing this podcast and rating this podcast still blows my mind. All I'm here to do is talk shop when it comes to entrepreneurship and sales. I want you guys to get as much value as you can. There's going to be a lot more content coming out this year, which I'm really excited to roll out to you. We're going to have a great new lineup of guests to add on to the already great lineup of guests that we had in 2021. And more than anything, we're up in our game to deliver value to you guys, because ultimately this community, which is you, is who we do it for. So if you've listened to this podcast, I can't thank you enough. I have nothing to add except for have a kick-ass year. I look forward to 2022 being your best year. And if you did like this podcast, please subscribe, rate it, or share it with a fellow entrepreneur and sales pro. And till next time, talk to you next week. Happy New Year.